So hello and welcome to my talk, Animation Journey Motion Layout chapter. I don't know who here already tried Motion Layout and who didn't have any issue with it. I read a lot of blog posts and I saw a lot of talks about how Motion Layout works perfectly for them, but I have a different story. I will start by presenting myself. I'm Sandra Dupré. I'm an Android developer for Disney Streaming Services. Disney Streaming Services is mainly known for ESPN+, the NHL app, and obviously now Disney+. So I'm in the Disney+ team, and I'm in charge of animation, screen transition, and keep everything super beautiful. So as an Android developer and more globally a part of a front community, I love animation. I can pass hours to define the right duration, the right interpolator to fit to the design request. And for that, we have a lot of libraries. My favorite is still View Property Animator, but now I kind of really like Motion Layout. It's on my top. And the cool thing with Motion Layout is if you already have some constraint layout, it will be super easy to use Motion Layout. The current version is beta 4, but my story is between alpha 3 and beta 1. If you never used Motion Layout before, Motion Layout allows you to create impressive animation easily, directly in an XML file. When I tried Motion Layout the first time and showed the result to a designer, and more important, show them I was able to change a lot of things quickly when they asked it, they loved it. And me too. It was super easy to change the duration, an interpolator, anything, super quickly. And it looks perfect visually, but like other code libraries, I was stuck with some issues. So remember, it was in alpha 3 version. So the first things is I wanted to be able to enable/disable the animation sometimes, depending on the animation state, the app state. So for example, here in the right version, the list is so small, I don't want to swipe. The animation is useless. I don't want it. Also, the first animation looks great, but more complex became the animation, more difficult the motion scene became to read. Also, all changes in the motion scenes in the initial state discard the change in the layout. We are a big team in Disney+, we are a lot of Android developers, and it was quite difficult to explain to everybody you need to either change twice, maybe 3 times, if you also need to change the end state. So your layout, the start state, and maybe the end state. It doesn't work well with other animation libraries. Like I said, we have like a legacy animation with View Property Animator, and we try to observe the Motion Layout animation to adapt the other animation, but everything was always messed up. The Motion Layout takes the responsibility of the visibility by default, and we need to have access to it in our case, because the view has some stuff who pass visible, invisible all the time. I had this issue with an empty text view with wrap content width, so initially the width is 0, and I wait something come from the API to put it on this text view. But when I translate this word in the text view comes back to the initial value for the width, so 0, during the animation. So it looks really weird. And this one is the most annoying one for a streaming app. We were not able to click or swipe correctly sometimes. It just blocked everything. So just a reminder, because I complain now, but it's super important. Open an issue tracker ticket, please. Seriously, do it. It's really important if you want something change and evolve, and if you use an alpha or beta version more, open issue tickets if you find an issue. So my first intention to find few fixes was this one. So to disable the animation, set the transition start to start, did the job sometimes it doesn't work. For this one, I didn't find a proper solution at that time. For the empty text view, I just wrap it in the frame layout, also in wrap content, and it works perfectly. And here the trick was to trigger the motion layout just a bit by setting the progress to almost start or almost end, like 0.1, 0.9, just after the draw of the view. But as I said, it was in Alpha 3. So we updated our code base to accept Beta 1. I also saw some issues tickets I wrote closed, so I was quite ready for it. So not in Beta 1, I think it's in Beta 2, Beta 3. The library added the set enable for the animation. Sadly, I didn't succeed to have it working for me. I need to dig a bit about that to be sure. The sub-elements method to write motion scene changed my life, really. It resolved all the problems I found to the motion scene readability, the discard change, everything. If you never try it really. It changed the way you can keep the readability of your animation correct. For this one, I still struggle with it. For the view visibility, no, you have the ignore visibility into the motion scene. So you can just, in the motion scene, say for this view, ignore the visibility to true, and the motion layout lets you take care of the visibility. This one is fixed. That's pretty cool. And the last one is fixed too, but we found another issue later. However. So that's the last issues we have. We can't block the UI in our case. We have a reactive pattern and we receive some stuff to make the UI evolve every time. So we can't block the UI during animation, or we can't forget to change something because something else is animated. We found an infinite rebinding loop. So when you try to click on something, it doesn't work. So we try to find the causes, and the cause was because the recycle view was rebind constantly, like infinitely. We remove the motion layout and the issue disappear, but we put back the motion layout and update the recycle view to the alpha version, and the issue disappeared too. So we don't know if the issue is the recycle view, the motion layout, the combination of two, or any other library maybe we have. We can do that. We have a reactive pattern architecture, so the app can be updated a lot, and in this case, the set transition can be called way too much and cause some issue I described before. And last one, the motion layout listener consistency is not really well sometimes. Sometimes it never returns 0 or 1, and it's quite annoying to be aware of what happened on your screen. So we try to find what caused these bugs. The first thing we think is we don't have any issue on TV. Our motion layout on TV works perfectly. Even with the reactive pattern, everything is fine. So it could be something is wrong with the on-swipe transition. So we try to remove the on-swipe on one animation on mobile, and yes, the issue disappeared too. So it's something around this point. We also had some issue when we try to manage more than two states. In this reactive, again, it comes from called the set transition too much. So how it looks like on Disney Plus now. So we decide to remove the motion layout from our mobile version for now, but it's not final. We just wait to have a more mature code base and a stable version for motion layout to give it a try again. All the animation, except some cool details on motion layout, were reproduced with the on-scroll listener some difficult calculation. This new solution has no bugs, I hope, and can easily trigger other animation, but it's way more complex to understand than a motion scene file. Like, the motion scene file write with the sub-element method is just magic and so easy to explain. And QA filled bugs because it was not as cool as before. For example, the smooth transition to the end state when you stop swipe. This one disappears. But it's still on TV, so we don't have any on swipe on TV. Everything is triggered programmatically. So we try to be we try to keep the rule to only have two states, and we can easily use multiple motion scene files for one screen. I will talk a bit about that. So for Disney Plus, we are available on a lot of devices, and all these devices, especially on TV, are not all super powerful. So we have two modes. So the app will not be exactly the same on the NVIDIA Shield and on the Mi Box, for example. We will have different animation, different timing, and also different visual behavior. So we'll have only 2 motion scene files. And for switch, we just have this boolean to say if it's light mode or not, and we just load the good layout description for the mode we use. So here an example. This is the height mode animation for the movie title page on Disney+. So as you can see, the logo is resized, the button and description disappear, and the background is blur. But we can't do that on the light mode, like blur, it's not possible, fade out some stuff is not possible, and resizing is also not really possible. So we have this animation on light device. You can see the logo is scaled down, and the text don't disappear, it's just hide by a gradient who come from the button and just hide it. But I really like motion layout. I really like this feature I miss now, the scroll to behavior. I talk about it in QA feedback for us. The tablet rotation was super easy to manage. You just need to keep in memory the motion progress somewhere, and when you rotate, you just put back the motion progress in your motion layout, and bam, the animation is still at the same state. Also, the code is super readable, simple to understand and work with, and it's super easy to learn. I teach it to some other of my colleagues, and it took me really not that much time. So if I can recommend, like, start by a simple case, not like me, like not with a project like Disney+. Be careful with the different library you use. The bugs doesn't necessarily comes from the last one you add. Reactive architecture and motion layout doesn't work well together for us, but we try to improve it, and when it will be improved, we can maybe think about reintroduce some motion layout on mobile. And try it, because I'm convinced of the potentiality of the motion layouts and can't wait to try again and reintroduce some cool animation with it on Disney+. So as I said, I'm on the Disney+ team for Disney streaming services. We have office in San Francisco, New York, and here in Europe in Amsterdam. We're hiring. Amsterdam is super beautiful. Please come, and thank you for watching me.